Even my girlfriend now, if I say, "Oh, Chris has sent me something funny on WhatsApp," which Chris, because we know about 15 of them, I went,
Yeah.
"Oh, visibility, Chris," and she knows what I mean. Or I've had to say, Marshy sent me this, but yeah, if it's, she goes, "Oh, visibility creates opportunity,"
Yeah. Well,
and
Alex isn't going to disagree because
oh
of
mate,
what
I
you
don't disagree,
does. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. So.
I don't say it every 10 minutes. Good day, good people, and hope you're all well. Welcome to Brown and Marsh, your favourite podcast in the world, presented by Ross Brown and Chris Marsh. Yeah, it's the only one we do. So it must be your favourite podcast that we do.
Yeah.
We talk to interesting people. We talk about new business. We talk about business development. We talk about marketing. We talk about podcasting in general, basically. And yeah, 45 minutes to an hour of your time that we are very grateful for you giving to us. If you'd like to make sure you never miss an episode, if you go to Apple Podcasts, if you go to Spotify, YouTube, Podverse, RSS, Amazon Music, brownandmarsh.co.uk, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Basically, you'll find us every single corner you turn online. We're like, I don't know, an evil spirit haunting you. Is that about right, Chris? Have I missed anything?
I think we've been described worse than that, but yeah, no, I'll take that. Yeah.
Well, we're both divorced, so we probably have been, yeah. So, how's yourself, Christopher, since I last spoke to you?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been actually, it was about an hour and a half ago we did the last one, wasn't it? So, anything happened since I last spoke to you?
Just a couple of meetings, a couple of opportunities, which has been nice. One that found me through Google, which is always good. Found my website. It's just doing a search, so that's pleasing. Another catch up with someone. Someone I met recently. So no, having a nice day so far. What about you?
Strange enough, not a lot. I've been editing podcasts since we last spoke. I can't think why. It's almost like you just turn up and look pretty for an hour, then I do all the work behind the scenes.
Pretty much. Oh, you've worked that out?
Yeah, it's taken me till episode 19 to work this one out. Yes, you swine.
I've been rumbled.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you just turn up with all your hair and everything, looking pretty, talking about Manchester United, saying visibility creates opportunity 28 times, and then disappear into the ether.
And then just letting Ross do all the work.
Yeah.
Have you got a tip for the week?
All right, I've got to go first, ever. Tip for the week. Yeah, go on. You go. You. Do you
want me to go first?
Yeah, right. Because I can think of one while you're talking.
You can think of one. I'm sort of. It's loosely connected to one that you said recently about the whole sort of call to action, which is really, really important. And it did remind me of the easiest website to buy something from is Amazon, and they make it so easy, almost too easy. Buy now, buy here, buy straight away. So even from a sales perspective, I think it's important to make it easy for someone to say yes to you. So making sure that those call to actions are clear to them. It's a sort of an easy process for them to follow, and that they understand that the expectation is correct, that it's clear, and that they're willing to say yes. Obviously, is the main thing. But if you make it easy for them to say yes and easy for them to buy from you, it just makes life a lot easier for everybody involved. So just kind of have a think around that. Even some of the questions that you're asking, try not to make them. You can make them closed, yes or no. But you'd rather them say yes rather than no. So, just having that in your head that people will find it easy to buy from you, will make life very easy. So, how about you, Ross? Have you got a tip of the week?
I've literally thought it in the last 3.5 milliseconds. There are stupid ideas. I know you often go to meetings and people go, there's no such thing as a stupid idea. Yeah, there is. And sometimes you've got to be honest. Is this a great marketing idea? Yes, it probably is. Is it right for your brand? No, it might not be. There's too many companies spend thousands of pounds getting other consultants and come up with their mission statement, their brand values, blah, 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 and then have a quirky idea and it all goes out the window. you ultimately, everything has to sound like it comes from the same company. And there's too many times where, the wrong fonts are used or the slight wrong shade of blue or whatever. That's bad enough. But actually putting out a message that doesn't contradict something else you said, but isn't in the same voice, isn't the same style. You can't suddenly get a bit silly and a bit wacky when you're, I don't know, financial services company. Stick to the brand that people expect. Be honest about things. Sometimes it is a good idea, but it's just not a good idea for you. So yeah, it's a short and sweet one, but be honest with yourselves. Just because it's a great idea, is it a great idea for you?
I see. That's good. I thought you were going to go David Brent when he said a good idea is a good idea forever, which is a classic line.
Do you want me to? There's a guitar behind me. Do you want to pick it up?
Go and get the guitar.
Yeah, get the guitar. I like that. Our guest is trying to keep quiet while we're waffling rubbish, and even he had to giggle at that one. Shall we bring him in?
Who is our guest today?
I don't know. We'll ask him
You
to
don't know.
introduce himself.
You don't
yeah,
know.
I do, but I don't. I can see him and I do know him, ish. Well, this is the first time we met. But yeah, Mr. Guest, if you'd like to tell us who you are, what you do, and a little bit about you.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm Alex McCann from social media marketing company Altrincham HQ. We've been running for nearly 17 years now as a social media company. So we're right there in the early days when it was pretty much Facebook and Twitter in those days.
MySpace.
MySpace as well. I was back in those days and back on Friendster was the original one, I think, which is making a comeback, I believe. So, yeah, we've been running a social media company for nearly 17 years, and I pretty much spend my life online. So I'm spending my life dipping in between each platform, developing strategies for businesses, managing the social media for businesses. And we work with lots of different sizes of businesses, from the biggest brands in the world to tiny one-man bands. So that's pretty much me.
And you're a bit of like Christopher, a bit of a networking tart, I do believe.
I can be a bit of a networking target.
Yeah, no, I say it complimentary. I'm quite envious of Chrissy's tarting abilities, but you're right. I'm right. You run a couple of networks around Altrincham.
One is only called Alex and his sisters, which is women only, and I'll explain the reason for that later. And we've got one for men and women called Smiley Happy People. So they're once a month on the second Tuesday of every month. So yeah, we have about 100 businesses attend each event.
Fabulous. How do you get into that? I mean, was it a route to promote Altrincham HQ, or was it, we're missing something here, we need this?
So I've always networked from day one. I think I met Chris probably 13, 14 years ago from a networking event. And I was always promoting other people's events. I was saying, people sat with me doing social media training. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, you need to come to this event. You need to come to that event. And they'll always say the same thing. 70% of my clients are women in business. And they'll always say, we can't come to that event. It's 8 a.m. It's a school run time. And I was like, there's an opportunity here. And it came up to 10 years of Altrincham HQ in 2019. And we basically did 10 events. We did a curry night. I was drinking in those days. We did a few boozy nights. And we did some networking events, and one of them was Alex and his sisters, which was the women's only one. And we were supposed to sell, well, we weren't selling them because we were free tickets, but we're supposed to book 35 tickets. We booked 50 tickets. We realised we needed a bigger venue for the second event, and it's just been running ever since then. So it's kind of a happy accident mixed with an opportunity. And I just think there aren't loads of networking events. There's not many that are free, that are accessible to startups, and there's far too many that are either too early in the morning or clash with the school run. So I was like, let's do it 9:30 in the morning. Yeah.
Same thing. Myself and a couple of friends started one over sort of Halifax, Huddersfield area, because we couldn't find anything we wanted. We purposely did it at 9:30 in the morning. So most people who come are small businesses, one-man bands or similar. So they can do the school run, or they can have a bit of breakfast, or they can nip into the office and check the emails and then come to see us for a couple of hours. And I don't think most places seem to care about that. They're either first thing in the morning, I don't want to network at 7 a.m. Oh, there's a bacon butty. I don't give a shit if there's a bacon butty. I'm still asleep. Or it's the end of the day and you're getting pissed. And I'm not necessarily always in the mood for that either.
Yeah.
No, so it's absolutely mad that you think it's 2026 and so many events are like, as you said, way too early, or like not realizing that normal people can't go to 8 in the morning, and they haven't got other responsibilities. So yeah, more events should do the 9:30 slot.
Yeah. So go on. I know because I've had a sneaky look at your LinkedIn profile, but you haven't always done this, have you, Alex? Where did you start from? Let's go back to when you were younger and
Oh yeah. Younger, more attractive, not as ancient as I am now.
Alex, shut up, okay? You've got more hair than me, and it doesn't look as grey as mine. So stop it, all right?
No, I think, I'd say you're healthier now. Let's put it that way. You're in a better position now because I know what you used to look like.
Yes, you do.
That's take that as a compliment.
There's a story there. I don't know if it's a story you want to share, but there's a story.
I don't mind sharing it, but I'll go back to the beginning, and that kind of explains why I look different in the old days. So, 1999, I left college basically. It was like that intersection between university and college. I did a business course and thought I didn't want to do business at that stage, so I wanted to do the thing that everyone does, follow the passion, which it worked out actually. I followed my passion into music and set up one of Manchester's first music websites back in '99. So those were dial-up days, so it wasn't easy to set up it wasn't easy to set a good-looking website up, first of all, because you were literally on I think it was Netscape Composer back in those days. It wasn't even Dreamweaver. It definitely wasn't WordPress. It was like the most basic website in the world ever.
Microsoft front page.
Oh, I think, I do remember that.
I'm shuddering. Yeah.
But yeah, so we designed this website. I put together a website that didn't look very good, but got 10,000 readers a week.
Yeah.
Literally, and I was interviewing rock and roll bands, so that was my job, journalist. I used my own website that got a platform to build my reputation whilst getting paid by other publications. I'm like,
sounds terrible, mate.
My own website. It was good. It was good days. I interviewed like so many good bands. Like it was literally living a childhood dream. Like, okay, I couldn't work for Melody Maker NME, but I was still living a dream.
Awesome.
So yeah, I got to interview like a who's who of like music between '99 and about 2007, 2008. So it was like emo days, Panic at the Disco, Paramore, My Chemical Romance, and then like Manchester legends like Johnny Marr and stuff like that. And I was just living a dream. Like it came a job, but like you were just ringing your mates up saying, "I'm interviewing Johnny Marr this afternoon," and it was like amazing. So that was the introduction.
I hate you already.
Just to brag, you rang them up just to brag, or
it was kind of like
Johnny Marr.
All my mates were doing normal jobs. So like I've just come from a normal background, so my mates just worked in offices and stuff like that. So it kind of like, I'm interviewing this person, I'm interviewing that person, and like they were a bit jealous on some of them.
Yeah,
I am already.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good lifestyle. I loved it. But referencing what Chris said before, like it's the most unhealthy lifestyle, working in the music industry. So I used to weigh a lot. I used to weigh like nearly 20 stone. And if you think back to those days, like 1999 in the early 2000s, there wasn't any healthy eating places. It was a culture to drink constantly. So, and music industry, it was hanging around drinking with a band, more hanging around and drinking, going to a gig and drinking. And you didn't have to get up early in the morning. Like we were just saying, like 8 o'clock's too early. In the music industry, no one answered the phone till 10:30. So you could have a lie-in till 10:15 because you didn't have to do anything till 10:30. So yeah, most unhealthy lifestyle ever. So I'm kind of glad I did it when I was younger and got out.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to our age and killing over from a heart attack after a fortnight. Yeah. Because you're 90% kebab.
Yeah, I had so many chips, so much pizza. It was insane. Like I look back in those days and think, I definitely couldn't do that now.
Oh no. Hey, somebody was talking to me about drinking, and they said, "Have you cut down? Now you're over 50." Not really. I said, because I never really drank that much in the first place. Because I've never enjoyed being hammered. I've been a bit tipsy. I quite like that. I've been a bit giddy, a bit silly. But no, I've never. That's why I've never been I must stop drinking. I'm blacked out. I've never done that. So, I've had no incentive yet to stop drinking. Hey!
Yeah. Yeah. So is that what sort of inspired you to take a sort of healthy choice, or am I skipping some steps there?
No, I think it was partly just a change of industry, because in between the journalism, I also did events as well. Like, I launched for the 5th birthday party of the website I ran. We did a gig at Night and Day in Manchester. So we did all the legendary venues like Night and Day, Roadhouse, Ruby Lounge, Dry Bar. And we're putting gigs on there, but it started as just like a celebration. And again, it was the same thing, the same unhealthy thing, lots of hanging around while bands were doing sound checks. Like, there's only so many times you can hear 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you're just drinking during those, and again, going down the chippy in between sound checks and doors opening. And when you step out of that and launch a normal business, a social media business, where you have to go to 8 o'clock meetings, you then suddenly start to go, I'll cut down a little bit. And now I've totally cut out drink. I eat healthily. But I think it's just, having to have a normal job to a certain extent does change your life a little bit.
Becoming a grown-up.
Yeah, being a grown-up and getting older as well. So,
yes, well, we can't argue with that one, can we? So obviously, it's almost the self-created journalism you were doing, but I noticed the BBC's on you. Is that kind of running parallel, or was that I need to get a proper job, I'll work for the Beeb?
No, I mean, in the journalism days for the BBC, it was the BBC Manchester, it was the music journalism side of things. So they would get me to go down and interview a band or review a live gig. It was all the up-and-coming bands. It was bands it was a band like called Dear Eskimo, and it became the Ting Tings and stuff like that. I had my ear on the ground to sort of see who was up and coming. And so it was that sort of stuff. And then there was publications in America called Soap Magazine, one in London called Rock Tribe, which I believe sort of turned into Rock Sound Magazine. So I was having to hustle, like having to get it. What I still do this to this day. Like, whenever anything goes quiet, what I did in the journalism days was I just said, I'm going to contact one person a day. And that's what I did. And it was just like inquisitive emails or but it was emails in those days. Now, if I get quiet in this business, it's the same thing, just a LinkedIn message here, an email there, an Instagram DM there. And you know what? It always turns around within a week. You say you're going to do a month, but it always turns around in a week, just having that conversation with people. And that's exactly what it did in the journalism days. So that funded me. And you could live a good lifestyle as a journalist as well, because you got all your concert tickets for free. In those days, the music industry had money, so you got invited to lots of parties. So every time an album came out, there'll be an album launch party where the rep from the record label would invite you down to a bar in Manchester, and you'd have a night out on the house. There was one night, no one was into the time. There was an Erasure album launch, and all the journalists in Manchester into indie music. So I think it was me and my mate that turned up, and he had 250 quid to spend behind the bar. So literally said, you need to have a few more drinks so I can spend as much of this.
We'll try our best, mate. Well,
Yeah.
But good day. So, it's just good getting paid for what you like.
You reminded me, because I come from a journalism background as well, but I was more business magazines. But one of the magazines I wrote for was Lighting and Sound International, so about nightclub installations, that kind of thing. And I got some tickets to go to the Ministry of Sound Bar in Birmingham that they're opening up. I don't think it lasted very long. But it was literally, I had 3 tickets. So my 2 mates came with me with big cameras around their necks, because they were my cameramen. And literally it was hot and cold, running whatever you want. It was, and we're drinking like triple vodkas and Red Bull and stuff like that. And it's like, do you want another one? It's like, I can't drink any more booze. So we actually left after an hour and a half because it was too noisy. Because I was only in my 30s. It was too, in fact, I don't think it was even that old. And we ended up going across to Ronnie Scott's to the other side of the road. It was like, this is a bit more our scene, isn't it? Yes. But the stuff that they used to throw at you when you were a journalist. God, I miss that.
It is, because it's totally changed now, because as you know, there's not as much money in journalism. There aren't as many launch parties. Even going back to when I launched Altrincham HQ, every business that launched in the town would have an opening event. So you get invited down, there'll be drinks, there'll be food. They'd actually introduce themselves to the town. And now I don't know if it's just an Altrincham thing, but there doesn't seem to be the same. I think people maybe just expect it's going to be a success in this town, and they just open doors and think people are going to walk through them. But there doesn't seem to be the same need for a launch party or the same want for it.
I don't think people have got the money anymore.
Possibly, yeah.
You know, there's maybe it's a couple of grand, and they're like, well, we can keep that couple of grand and put it into the business, or we can, throw it away on one night and hope that something comes of it. And I think people are a bit more nervous about spending it. Yeah. I think it's just Altrincham, mate. Don't worry. Don't take it personally, Alex.
Rising costs of staff is very prohibitive. I know there's a couple of restaurants that have closed recently in Manchester, and they've quoted, staff, the rising cost of staff and everything that's involved in the people side of it. So I'm sure Con Club are very pleased for your services, aren't they, Alex?
It's coming in each month.
Oh, is that where you have your events? Got you. I'm
the Con Club opposite at the market, so...
Yeah. So BBC moved onwards, but more into more events, was it, I think, at that point?
Yeah, live music events, because all the bands I was covering were relatively big. So I was hearing all these up-and-coming bands and thinking...
All the support bands, essentially.
Yeah, or even smaller than that, just local Manchester bands some of the time. And I was like, I kind of like going to gigs. Why don't I just put my own on? And those are, again, glory days of when you could put an event on Tuesday night in Manchester and it would sell out night and day.
Yeah.
By the end, after the recession, it wasn't as easy. You'd put on a Saturday night and not even sell out. But I wanted to showcase for all the bands. I'd always had a good ear for hearing bands that I felt could make it and be bigger or deserve a showcase. So I just started, and that was the advent of MySpace as well.
Yeah.
So it enabled you to discover bands quite early on, because MySpace had really good search functionality. So you could do these searches where you could put Manchester band that had a new account.
Yes.
So you could literally, the bands were putting the demos online. It's they're really good. I just want to book them. So you send them a message and say, do you want to play in 2 months' time? And they'll play events for you. And that's how you got in early with them. So, started off with one event a month in 2004. It ended up by the end of us finishing the events in 2013, where there's a bit of a crossover with this business. We're putting 5 or 6 events on a month. 1, because there's more bands and more demand. 2, partly because we needed it to cover some costs and make some money, because you had
nothing wrong with that, mate.
Yeah, post-recession, you had to. You weren't getting as many on one night, and you always had to move to weekends, which is part of the reason I left the music industry, because I didn't want my work to start at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And it was,
is that how you got into social media then? Sort of doing that became your introduction to social?
Yeah, so a lot of people do it from music industry to marketing. There's so many people that I know that are now web designers, social media marketers, SEO, that started off in the music industry because you learned a bit of how to code on MySpace, you learned how to promote yourself, then Facebook came along, and I think I was even on Twitter for music before I was on it for a social media business. So music were quite often the first adopters of things, and it was actually, I was managing a band at the time. It was a young teenage band, and the dad worked in recruitment, and he sort of gave me a pre-warning. He was like, bands split up, and his son's band did split up shortly after. He goes, bands split up, you should use these skills for businesses rather than bands, because bands, you've got 2 years max with them. Businesses generally last a lot longer than two years. And he said, you've got a real good skill set here, and you need to adapt that. And at the time, I hadn't really heard of the role of a social media marketer. I'd met one. He worked for Henry Lloyd Jeans, and they were the sponsor of a festival we put on in Manchester. I was like, well, the job exists, but all my friends told me I was mental and mad for wanting to teach people how to use social media. And I was like, but I studied marketing, I know how to do this. I just need to work out the logistics of running a business that isn't putting on events or isn't journalism. So it was a bit of a bit in the middle where it's like a community site where I'd use the daytimes where I wasn't running events.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a news channel, just talk about what's going on in Altrincham. Could I go walk around on a Wednesday afternoon and go, oh, look, that business is opened over there, or that business is opened over there. And those were the days when a traditional newspaper would take 6 weeks to say, new business opens in Altrincham. And I'm like, it's been open for 6 weeks. Yeah. It's not new, it's old now. So I would just be the person with a phone. And I think even those days, phones were that basic. I would walk around, take note of it, and have to walk home and then do it on my desktop. So I was still quicker than traditional press. But yeah, that was the introduction to social media. Like, I felt I needed to launch a community thing before I turned it into a business. So I think we'd got 1,000 followers on Twitter before I'd even done one social media training session. Because I was like, got to prove it. I've used it.
I was going to say, yeah, prove your point. I do know what I'm talking about. I've done this, that, but also make mistakes where people are paying you.
Yeah, and it's interesting looking back at like early days of social media. I'm sure both of you were on Facebook in the early days, but if you look at like Facebook updates from like 2010 and 11, they were so innocent. I mean, I'm not saying they were like, no, nothing that will give you a sackable offence, but like, they were so innocent. It's like, it's just an update, like a one-line update saying going out tonight. And like, I love that kind of innocence of the early days before everyone got a bit mental on social media and just started attacking each other. It was just like an idea came to head and you just put 3 words on Facebook.
Well, because you had to start it with is as well back then.
Yeah.
It was Ross Brown is ... and you had to fill in after the dots.
Yeah.
And it was like a big deal when they got rid of the is. So you could, I think it opened more possibilities then.
Yeah, and on Twitter, 140 characters, like literally having to really condense your message and not be able to just send long diatribes is a really good way to condense your message and think about what you want to say.
Yeah. I'm still on Twitter. I'm one of the few.
I'm still there.
It's like a cesspit. It really is. It's like, well, that's AI, that's porn, that's a racist. Oh, look, there's something interesting.
And Elon Musk just controlling everything.
Yeah. Oh, don't.
Yeah. Do you get engagement on Twitter or X, as we should refer to it?
It's Twitter.
Not really. Like, I would be perfectly happy if Twitter or X disappeared tomorrow because I don't get any business out of it anymore. I got loads of business in the early days, but I'm just there out of habit. It's just one of those awkward habits you can't give up. Yeah. And I'm still there. And if you talk about anything business or anything serious, you get no engagement. If you have a funny quip or a funny photo or something topical or political, you can still reach tens of thousands of people. But I'm like, having a rant about politics isn't going to drive a business home. And then I'll just be there for 10 hours later arguing with someone. So
I've stopped arguing. I've stopped arguing with people because my girlfriend is almost giving it up. But I point out, you're not going to change the mind. Yeah. You're just going to get wound up. Yeah. What's the bloody point?
Yeah, exactly.
They're wrong. We know they're wrong. They're not going to suddenly turn around and go, oh, my God, you're right. I'm going to stop wanting to deport everybody who's not white and decide to vote for the Green Party. I've seen the light. It's not going to happen.
No. Are they all still arguing on things like Threads and Blue Sky?
Blue Sky seems to die. I tried Blue Sky. It's not. It should have taken off because it was nice and cuddly Twitter. But then apparently that's full of, I'm told it's full of even more dubious people than are on X, which I didn't think was possible personally, but yeah. Is that what you found, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I went onto Blue Sky and just never found any traction on it. And then I'm on Threads and Threads just seems random is the best description of it. It doesn't seem to know what it is. Like, at least Twitter, it's kind of for news. That's kind of its USP. Threads hasn't really got a USP. It's not as cute as Twitter was in the old days, yet it's not topical. So I'm like, what's the point of it? And I'm kind of on there, but it doesn't drive anything. I've actually realised that I think the average person doesn't want a Twitter or a Threads or a Blue Sky. The average person doesn't have that many thoughts. The average person struggles with thinking of what to post on LinkedIn a couple of times a week. Never mind having to go, oh, you've got to be on these fast-moving platforms. You've got to post 10 times a day. I don't think the average person, I think people who are on Twitter in the early days have the brains wired slightly differently, and that they've got too many thoughts in their heads, and you just have to spurt everything out to everyone. Like, my friends get sick of me spurting out thoughts on Messenger to them. Like, and I think I'm like, they don't get it's just like that Twitter brain from the early days.
Oh, I loved Twitter in the early days, though. It was just brilliant. It was just so fresh and new. And I remember just posting just like the opening line of a song, and then someone else would write the next line, and then somebody else would come in and write the next line. You know, I got chills, and the next person they multiply, and then you're losing control. Or even asking a question. It was just hilarious. It was just. Might not sound funny now.
Oh no, you're right. I love that kind of stuff. But now, unfortunately, you'll put something. You know, I like oranges. What's wrong with apples? Fascist? Nothing. Oh, bananas, eh? You don't like bananas now? It's like, what? People want an argument.
Yeah, so Ricky Gervais, we talk about Ricky Gervais. He made the reference to it's like advertising guitar lessons on a notice board, and someone getting really angry saying, "I don't want guitar lessons." It's all right, it's not just for you. It's one of those things. So how have you sort of adapted with all these changes? You talk about things in the olden days and how it is now, and how people use your services. So you help companies sort of understand what they need to put out there. It's not just content; it's the ideas and storytelling.
Yeah, so I think I approach it from that journalistic perspective. So I'm like, where's the story? What have we got to say? What's your message? How do you communicate that? How do you get the best possible opening line? How do you convert that to business? Because we're not just doing it for fun. So it's all those elements. In terms of how I've changed and adapted, obviously I said the early days were just text only. A lot of things didn't even have photos in those early days. So I've got to change. I've got to keep myself I've got to not put myself out of a job. That's essentially what I've got to do. And I think every single month, the platforms change something that you think, is this the thing that's going to put me out of a job? So obviously when video came in, I had to get used to editing videos to a certain extent. And I'm not a videographer, but you have to learn these skills on the job. So it was copywriting first, then it was taking better photos, then it was doing better, then it was probably better graphics, then it's better videos. Now I think that the thing it's almost coming full circle, and it's trying to be human in an AI age. So I think everyone, I don't want to become one of these old men that complains, but everyone's doing the same trend. Everyone sounds the same because of AI. And I think now I'm hoping it almost goes full circle to let's put some personality into it. Let's be unique. Like, you don't get the big brands in the world. You don't get your Coca-Cola, your McDonald's, your Starbucks. You don't get them going, oh, let's just sound like everyone else by using Claude or ChatGPT, and let's do the same trend that the other burger or soft drink company's doing. They don't copy each other, and I think small businesses, hopefully, because I've seen a kickback against it from 25 to 26, 25 was like the year of, isn't AI great? Isn't it all going to save us this? And isn't it going to save us money and time and this? And I've definitely this year seen a lot of kickback from normal people, not people whose jobs rely on it. So naturally, graphic designers are going to kick against AI for graphic design. Copywriters are going to kick against AI for copywriting. Yeah. But you're now seeing Joe blogs and on the street sort of saying, this is rubbish. This is terrible. Yeah. Why are they doing this? And I'm hoping it kicks it back to, obviously, the economy is a bit weird at the moment, so people are always trying to save money. But I'm hoping people see a bit more of a long-term view, and it comes back to being a bit more human.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it a couple of times on here. AI was meant to make our lives easier. So to me, that means remove the drudgery.
Yeah.
So let us be creative and write the book, paint the thing, blah, blah, blah. That can go and do the dishes, or that can do my housekeeping, or balance my checkbook or whatever. Sorry, I've sounded very balance my checkbook.
Balance your checkbook.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Just I don't even think my mum does that anymore. But it was meant to do the boring shit.
Yeah.
And we're meant to do the
creative stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's artificial intelligence. It doesn't have. It can't put in 15 different references and work out there's a weird connection that only we can see, but we can't even explain why actually that crossed with that actually works, because it doesn't know, it doesn't appreciate, doesn't feel, doesn't emote. It's artificial.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use fucking M dashes because I've always used M dashes, and I'm not stopping now.
I've had to tell mine, stop using M dashes.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting in terms of like marketing, creativity, and where the future goes. Because I think obviously this year as well, we've had the debate on should under 16s use social media? Should it be a ban? And I personally don't think it should be. I think it should be. There should be a lot more education in schools. Like literally every government decision that's made should be like, have we educated people enough before actually going just for the easy option of doing a ban? But actually, all those people that are saying, yeah, school kids shouldn't use social media, those are the same people that are using AI at the moment for everything. AI to use an email, AI to send a response to someone on social media. I'm like, so what happens in 5 years' time where you've outsourced your brain and any form of creativity? You are just going to be this walking zombie that can't even think. And I'm like, you're saying social media is bad. How bad is AI going to be in 5 years' time if you've not had a single original thought? That is the reality of it.
I mean, I used to write the pub quiz for my local pub.
Yeah.
And I was talking about the future of the pub quiz because people don't need to remember facts anymore.
No.
If you've got your phone in your hand, you can look anything up.
Yeah.
You know, and we're all guilty of it. And when you're watching TV, just a minute, pause that. Oh, that's what that means. You know, or I've always wondered about that. I'll read that later. But people don't need to remember, you know, what was the last number one of the 70s?
No.
I do, because it's me. It was Brass in Pocket by the Pretenders. But, you know, those kind of things. Or was it Another Brick in the Wall? It was one or the other, anyway. But
it'll stop people from meeting each other, won't it? I remember hearing a comedian talk about, just a very quick story, and I think he said he was watching something, and there was Guns N' Roses on the radio, whatever, Guns N' Roses, and he thought, whatever happened to? So I've not heard about Guns N' Roses. Where's Slash? I wonder where Slash was from. And now you just look it up. But he said,
from Stoke.
He's from Stoke-on-Trent. Absolutely right. But in the olden days, you'd go to a gig and somebody and you'd see someone of the same sex or opposite sex, and you'd say, Guns N' Roses. I was thinking about them the other day. Do you know where? Did you know that he's from Stoke-on-Trent? You have a conversation. You might develop that conversation into something more deeper. But so it's
is that how you met Lucy? Is that how you met Lucy? All right, darling.
Talking about.
Do you know Slash is from Stoke-on-Trent? Get away from me. I've told you before.
She hates rock music, so she doesn't like it when I put Radio X on.
Oh God!
In the car. So anyway,
sorry.
But it's probably the ripple effect has probably affected us in more ways that. It's stopping us from having conversations with people that, like I said, you want to know something, just look at it.
And I think I'm a big fan. That's why I run networking events. A big fan of face-to-face. But I'm a big fan of face-to-face anyway. Like, bizarrely, despite working in social media, when I'm out with friends, I'm the one that's on his phone the least. Like, I always make a point, like, I go out and I, have this binge for 20 minutes of doing my work, my client's work and whatever, so that when I'm with the friends, I can just not look at the phone. So the phone goes on Do Not Disturb. And I'm like, the friends who work normal jobs, who can literally sit there, as long as the boss isn't behind the shoulder, can probably check the phone all day long anyway at work. And they're the ones just checking the phone within 2 seconds on a conversation. So I think, that's another thing. I always try and approach social media as it shouldn't overtake your life. I'm like, it's part of your life. You use it to promote your business. You use it to get the results you want. But then you step away and you live life and you do normal things. You get on with other areas of your business. You get on with other areas of your life. So I'm a big fan of doing things away from social media, whether it be running when my phone's strapped to my arm, or whether it be going to the cinema and I'm old, so you put your phone off when you're actually in the cinema, or you go to a gig and you just take the one photo to say that you were there, and then your phone goes away for the rest of the gig. And
I hate it when people stood there, video it, enjoy the big picture rather than the 6-inch screen that you're watching it through. You know, they've spent millions on these lights. Enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to Grumpy Old Men.
Is it things like that you talk to businesses about, not just creating content or actually being aware of stepping away from it a little bit
So quite often businesses are coming to me and they're spending a lot of time on social media. Like, I think there's this misconception that if you come to a social media trainer, they're going to tell you that you have to spend your life on social media, and that's really so far from the truth. A lot of people that come to me, they're either going to spend the same time on that they're currently spending and get better results out of it, or they're going to spend less time on it and get better results from it. So I'm like, you need to do this as part of your day because you've got customers to serve, you've got all the other things that running a business takes. So I'm like, let's try and do it within 30 minutes a day. I'm not saying 30 minutes a day if you've got to do a highly edited video and stuff like that, but the basics: writing your post, selecting the photo, selecting the video that's going to go with it, engaging, messaging, talking to people. That shouldn't take much more than 30 minutes a day unless you're working social media. And you're probably only spending double the amount of time on there. So I think, it's a tool. It shouldn't be your life. So I think a lot of people spend too much time because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what a story is. So they spend 15 minutes trying to think what they're going to talk about. Then they spend another 15 minutes coming up with the first line. I was with someone, a training client, probably a few months ago now, and they told me that they're literally spending 50 minutes writing a post. And they were using AI even then to help them, and AI was actually muddying the head a bit. So I just set them a challenge. I said, right, come up with some ideas first of all. I said, right, pick your best idea. You've got to write a post in 10 minutes and you're not using AI. So I literally, Andy did it. And I said, right, you're going to do it a second time to prove it's not just a one-off. And then I caught up with them a couple of weeks after the session. I was like, you still sticking to that 10 minutes? I was like, yeah. And I was like, wow, that's changed like their whole time, their whole life that they're spending things, because literally they were trying to post 3 times a week. 3 times a week times 50 minutes versus 3 times a week versus 10 minutes each. Yeah, it's massive. That gives them back so much time. And so that's what we try and do: bring the time down.
You're giving people time back.
Try and think of ways of coming up with ideas, like in things like this. Like, you're having conversations all the time. I'm mentally thinking of like, oh, that's an interesting topic to talk about. That's an interesting topic to talk about. Whereas the average person doesn't join the dots. They'll do something like this, like park it, and then they'll sit down 8 a.m. tomorrow and go, what am I talking about? They won't think to get the pen and paper out and write a note or email yourself the notes of what you talked about.
Yeah.
Now, I have a habit of doing this, and Chris is going to smile because I think he might even know what I'm doing. I have the habit of this going, are you ADHD by any chance? Only because it's funny. It's only over the last year or so I've realised I am.
Yeah.
So the traits I've recognised since it was suggested to me of doing exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So when I hear other people talk, I'm going, are you? And it's like, because my girlfriend reckons it's a pyramid scheme. We attract them and sort of promote it to each other. So I don't know, is it something you think it's just you, or you guess you might well be? Don't get me wrong, it doesn't ruin my life.
I think there's so many people talk about it on LinkedIn. I almost don't want to be.
Yeah.
I
don't want to be in that gang. I want to be original.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a line. I'm a massive Manic Street Preachers fan, and I think there's a line about heroin being too trendy, and I'm like, I don't want to be anything that's trendy. So I'm kind of like,
I don't want no spectrum. I'm my own boy. Yes.
Actually, no, I don't know. I think it's partly the journalism thing, like, because journalism, you used to get 20 to 30 minutes with an artist or a band, and you used to, one, you came in with so many ideas, but two, you had to think on your feet. And I think it's just used to like stepping away from something and go, what's the angle? What's it to talk about? And,
I mean, I know, because I whenever I'm speaking to people, because obviously I put together the edit it and put together the social media stuff afterwards, and I always give each episode a title. So I'm listening to what you're saying and thinking what would make a good title for the show. Like, for instance, I can say it because it'll be out by then. So I think you know Una Cottrell.
Yeah.
So the title for that one is "Sister is Doing It for Herself."
Yeah.
So it's always like, take a song title or something like that and just twist it, and it sums her up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
So I'm doing the same, thinking, what's he saying? What's the song title? What?
The Manic Street Preacher song.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking everything must go now.
I was thinking Rage Against the Machine. Actually, I was thinking, but there you go.
a design for Altrincham or something like that.
Yeah. But you enjoy running as well. Obviously, we talk about the health side of things and how that's sort of affected you and the change that you made. So, how often are you running? What sort of?
Oh, my distance is what I always say is half marathon. It's like my perfect distance. But I'm running like I've had injuries over the past few years, so it's kind of I've had to bring it down and do a bit of cycling, a bit of swimming, a bit of walking. But I generally still run about 3 times a week, anywhere between. I don't know, on average week, I'm probably doing 25 to 30K. I probably used to do 30 to 40K a week. But I'm always like, running's my switch off. It's a switch off from computers. It's a switch off from looking at your phone. Listen to music and just have an hour of running or whatever. And I try and run in interesting places as well. So anywhere that's got some significance, anywhere. I'm trying to do runs abroad now. It's actually bizarre that it's cheaper to go running abroad sometimes than it is to run in England. So I've got later in the year. I mean, I've got a lot of English ones coming up, but later in the year I've got a Frengarola in Spain. I'm doing a Frengarola half.
Nice.
Obviously, I always do the Altrincham and Hale 10Ks, which I often see you at.
Yeah.
And running. It's something I never thought I'd be. I don't know. I think that is definitely a middle-age crisis. Every bloke in the 40s tends to run these days.
I'm in my 50s now, so I've got through the other side.
You didn't have that crisis.
No, I tell you, actually, I did buy some trainers, and I think it might be my 45th, and I bought some trainers and went for a run. Got back away, and I'm not fucking doing that again. No, mine was bike. I got a bike. My knees they couldn't cope. But I'd love going on my bike. Same kind of thing. Headphones on, quite enough that I could hear people, the cars, etc. But and then just go off on one, for a couple of hours. And I've never been the fittest, and but I could feel myself, especially living around a lot of hills. I got further up that hill each time I got there, and that kind of thing. And it is just being away from everything.
Yeah,
and
it
just
is
switching off.
And quite often it's near greenery, it's near water, and it's nice. And I don't go running to think of ideas, but 9 times out of 10 I'll come back, and an idea's been floating around my head while I've been running. It might be off a lyric from a song, it might be from something I was thinking about before I left, but I couldn't formulate it in my head. And then I'm halfway through a run, and I don't want to stop and write it down. I have that thing. There's something I remember hearing, like it takes 7 times to remember something. So I'll be running along, sweating, and like.
Sorry, you went full Forrest Gump there when you did the running thing.
And like repeating it like 7 times in my head, so that by the time I'm home an hour later, or at least stopped, I'm on my phone, like typing into my phone. But no, it's good. You feel a lot better after a run. I've
got visions you going full Alan Partridge. Note to self: monkey tennis.
Yeah, it's inspiring though, Alex. Obviously, the amount of running that you do and how it's affected you. And I'm going to make a presumption that you're healthier now. But we'll talk about.
I've just been on a diet this year. Actually, it's been like. Because I kind of know I used to be big. You get to these certain points where you're reaching a certain weight and you go, well, that's a wake-up call, lose some again. So for the past few months, I've been on a bit of a diet, lost 1.5 stone. I feel better for it. I'm eating healthily. And I think you just have more energy for your business then as well.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, it's inspiring from a business perspective as well, because you talk about the healthy mind, healthy body, healthy mind. So what are you putting out there, and where you getting your inspirations to talk about the things that you're talking about. So that's good.
Yeah, no, it's good, and I think you need that energy to do what you do when you are pretty much switched on to your own business, your clients' businesses. You need your mental facilities going on there. So it's kind of like you do, because you are, if you think what a social media manager is, because I do the training and I do social media management. And if you think I've got my own social media to do, I've got at any one time, say 6 businesses' social medias to do. So I think it works out about 3,000 ideas I have to come up with every year. I think I did the maths one day, and that is crazy when you think about it. One person, obviously, some of those ideas can be repeated and so on like that. But quite a lot of time, it's fresh ideas, it's new ways of doing old ideas. It's 3,000 ideas.
Yeah.
And those are all genuine ideas, not, as I said, not going into ChatGPT and saying, give me 25 ideas to post this month. Those are literally from my head. And
you're so ADHD. It hurts.
No, I think the first thing I'd do is go to ChatGPT. But
I would as well. But
no.
I then go, they're all shit.
Yeah. No, you're great at coming up with ideas, Alex. I remember the run that you did. You've done things like running around Liverpool and going to John Lennon's house and Paul McCartney's house and a picture outside Strawberry Fields. And I think you must have done an Oasis one, Mr. Sifters and Peggy's
all the
house.
Manchester ones, Oasis, the Smiths. I did one too recently, and it was the Steve Coogan, Alan Partridge, and next to it's Paul Scholes. Right. And it was only from looking on social media for another piece of street art. I was like, the same artist did that in Middleton, and I've never been there, so I'll go and run from Piccadilly Gardens to Middleton. And,
that's a fair job.
It's interesting as well. So I usually try and pick a soundtrack. So it's like Alan Partridge. It was like Knowing Me, Knowing You. So I've got and have a gold for the whole run or something like that. So it's a bit of a laugh, and it makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Especially when you said when you're in a new town, Liverpool, I've done all the Beatles ones now, so I'm like, what do I do next? Done Beatles, done Brookside, done Bread Street for old people who remember Bread.
I remember it.
Yeah.
We all remember it. None of us are in our 20s, don't worry.
So again, that's just a random idea you come up with, and
Billy Boswell. Sorry, Billy Boswell.
She is a tart. Lyle O'Dill. Yeah, sorry.
Cast were a good band from Liverpool. I was a big fan of Cast.
They were, and I think, again...
They've just brought a new album out.
Yeah,
in the last couple of months. Apparently it is excellent.
All right.
Yeah, I think the weirdest thing about being a music fan now is you're seeing all the sons or daughters, the offspring of the bands around when we were kids. So Cass... his son's in a band, and Bono's son's in a band, and you end up finding there's this really good new band, and then 6 months later you find out there's a son or daughter, and it's a bit nepo baby-esque, but it's.
I wonder how they got the step. How did Dave Grohl's daughter get that step up into music? I wonder.
Oh, you cynic, you, Christopher.
Fantastic. So what does the future look like for Alex McCann? What does the next 5 years look like for you? You're obviously you're a celebrity in Altrincham, so you need to be seen in Altrincham. You can't move away from Altrincham, can you?
Yeah, I can't leave Altrincham at one stage. When I retire, I'm fine. So I think it's just keeping relevant. That is the main thing. We talked before about social media changes. I do wonder what's next, in social media, because if you think about it, there's not really been anything different since TikTok. TikTok was the last big platform that came out, and that was really, if you think that's been around for years, but it really came into prominence at the pandemic. Yeah. So we're talking, it was 2020, the pandemic. So we're talking 5-6 years on from when TikTok became mainstream. If you look back before that, it was Instagram was probably the last one before that, and that was about 2013.
Vine.
So
Vine's coming back.
I love Vine.
Vine's come back. It's back.
I don't know whether it will make it mainstream again. I remember it in the old days, but I'm like, what's next? That's the thing. I've got to keep relevant. The moment I stop being relevant, I haven't got a business. So I think that's always the battle.
Is it going to be AR, do you think, or VR or something?
I've been trying to push that for a long time, haven't they, with the glasses and the sort of headsets. And I don't think, again, I think it's like Twitter. The average person didn't want Twitter. I don't think the average person wants to go around wearing specs that films everything and puts you into virtual worlds. I think it's like this tech dream that people want it, but I actually think, does the average person... I joke to my friends, when they say something inappropriate, going, if I only had the glasses, I could have just tapped that and filmed you. But, but I don't...
Wow, and people still invite you out? I'll be going, no, we're not inviting Alex to the next one. He keeps making these comments, and we're worried because he does wear glasses that, new specs, yes, tap, tap.
But I think, that's it's relevant. I think that's the thing, So I don't think there's going to be there's not any major changes. I mean, the thing that I always wanted after the pandemic was to do a lot more virtual training. And because the idea was like, after pandemic, the Zoom world happened. And I was like, 80% of my training is going to be done via Zoom. And it happened. It was literally that for about 2 years after, where I'll train in Australia or New Zealand or whatever. And I think there's suddenly, I can't remember what summer it was. It might have been 23, 24, where everyone wanted to go back to face again. Yeah. And it was like literally from 1 month to the next, suddenly people's minds changed. And as much as I love face-to-face, I think Zoom would give me the freedom that if I could shift the pendulum a bit, that I could then I could travel a bit more, go explore a bit of the world, but take the laptop with me and be able to do a training session in the morning and then go and just explore somewhere fresh in the afternoon.
Need to introduce you to Caroline that we spoke to earlier. She's from Warrington, Manchester originally, lives in Spain now. The last time I'd spoken to her, she was in Thailand and she lived in Mexico, basically, running her consulting business, and just via Zoom, basically.
Oh, I love that, because I think that as much as I love Altrincham, as much as I love England, the one thing that I hate is the weather. And like, if England was like the heat wave recently, it would be great. Like just being able to sunbathe in a garden, and it's so nice. But then when it's like grey skies and rain and cold, so I think that's a long-term plan. Do a lot more virtually, be able to help more people as well, because I can help people. I mean, I pretty much work all over the Northwest, but I'd love to be able to help people, whether it be London or Glasgow or Spain or New Zealand or Thailand. As long as you speak English, I'd love to be able to help more people. So I think a bit more of an international lens, because I think, to be fair, if you live in Paris or Berlin, you don't actually know what Altrincham is. You don't realise it's a town. It could just be a name like Google or Amazon or something like that. You don't actually know what it is. So I don't think the name's a barrier to the growth or whatever. It certainly hasn't held me back in nearly 17 years. So
I never thought it, but yeah, I mean, obviously Altrincham to me is, nice little town just outside Manchester. Yeah. A bit posh, lots of football, that kind of thing. But yeah, I suppose it's because it's not well known enough, is it? So it could, as you say, it's eBay, it's Google, it's whatever.
And I think that was always the plan, because when social media started, everyone was talking about it being a fad. And I was like, well, I don't think it is, but let's not. A lot of business at the time started calling themselves social media training mum or social media training this. And I was like, well, even if it just changes subtly to like digital marketing or so on, if I don't have that in the title of my business, it allows me to be adaptable. It allows me to change. It allows me to change the model of what we do. So one thing we've done recently, because we've got a large audience, we've got like 100,000 people that follow us. Recently we reached like 2.5 million people in 1 month. The average is about 1 million people. So we've started launching advertising. I don't ever want to be one of those publications like it's 100% advertorial, but I'd like to have a little bit of that in there.
You'd like to have a little bit of money, Alex, is what you're saying.
I mean, and I think there's some things that sometimes the business approaches you and you go, well, that is an advert. And you're happy for that to be an advert, but it's not a story. And I think that it's again, knowing that difference between what is editorial and what's advertorial. Yeah. And I think there's definitely that's going to play quite a reasonable part in our future as well. So.
Like you say, because we both come from a similar background of, it's the content that matters. Yeah. People don't pick up a magazine or look at a website for the adverts. They do it for the content. So once you forget that, you're screwed. So, but at the same time, it needs paying for. So unless you're going to pay to get through this paywall, sorry, mate, you need to occasionally see something sponsored by somebody.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting that balance right, because I think we all know publications that are like 100% adverts. Yes. And we all know publications can't survive as 100% editorial. So he's getting that middle ground right. And I think if you're smart with what you do, you can find the stories as a business to make sure it is editorial, and maybe support the publication that supports you with a little bit of adverts occasionally. So I think that's going to play a part in the future. And I think networking as well, they're going to keep going. Keep the same events. The format works. maybe some Zoom tie-ups with people in different countries or different parts of the UK would be nice. I've been thinking of that recently. Like give the opportunities from people in South Manchester to meet people all around the country. Would be good, and just have them every couple of months.
Wonderful.
Well, yeah, if you ever decide to expand across the Pennines, I know we're not exactly miles away, but yeah, give me a shout, because obviously I've got this fledgling networking thing we've started over here, but not quite your giddy heights. I think we're on to 3 figures now, and we're just about to do the 4th event next Friday. But yeah, I think that we're going for local. We're purposely saying we're not going to Leeds or Manchester.
Yeah.
If we expand, it be Rochdale, Oldham.
Yeah.
The places where they're not tiny, just like Halifax and Huddersfield. There are lots of people there, but maybe underrepresented because it's not seen as being the sexy places to go, like Leeds, Manchester, even Sheffield, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
But there's still plenty of people around, which is what you've done in Altrincham.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been to our advantage that it's Altrincham based. I mean, when I started off, like, if there was someone in social media, they're always in the Manchester city centre in the Northern Quarter, and having that as a name for the standout really helps. Same thing with networking. Altringham's obviously a good town. I think networking-wise, we're seeing everyone's launching networking events these days. Like, since I started, there was probably only 2 of us, and Chris has seen it from obviously circles. Like, I think there's probably now, I think in the last 12 months alone, there's been about another 6, 7, 8 events in Altrincham. And like you said, go to places where they're not served. Yeah. If I was launching an event in Trafford now, I would be looking at Sale, I'll be looking at Urmston, I'll be looking at Stretford, where literally there aren't any or very few other events. And so look for those places where there's a gap.
I think ours was the other way around. It was myself and 2 of my friends, and we went to an event locally, and it was shite. It was like, and this is the best we could find around here. There were 6 people, and we were 3 of them. So that's why it wasn't. We don't charge for it. We don't make any money out of it. It was just it's the event we wanted to go to.
Yeah. And I think when you do that, when you do something you want, again, ours are free as well. We don't charge, so it's kind of like we just do it for the same reason. There were some good events, and there still are some good events around here, but they weren't exactly what I wanted. So I was like, let's do it in my format, do it how I would want it, and it's obviously worked. So I think that's the key. I mean, networking works, face-to-face networking with social media is like the 2 things together really, really work. So I think more of it. For anyone watching this, listening to it, make sure you're turning up. Make sure you're consistent on face-to-face. Make sure you're consistent online.
And why do you need to turn up, Chris? Go on, Chris. You want to say it.
It's visibility creates opportunity.
There we go. For anybody playing Brown and Marsh bingo, take 1 shot.
There you go. There you can shout it. But your events are always very well attended, Alex. The ones that I've been to, they're absolutely fantastic. So you got to, like you say, stay relevant and keep doing what you're doing as well. So
sounds like it's been successful so far.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, listen, I knew today was going to be fantastic. I love hearing from you, Alex, and I knew you'd be an interesting guest for us, and you've not disappointed us. So,
it's been really nice to meet you, mate.
Yeah, really, really grateful for you joining us. So, if people want to get in touch, and your listeners want to sort of find out a bit more about you, Alex, how would they get in touch?
Easiest way is to go to our website, ultramahq.co.uk, and it's got all the social media links in the top right corner. So just click on those. I'm active on all of them. If you want the serious business content, though, connect with myself on LinkedIn, Alex McCann, or if you want a bit more local content, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Fantastic, yeah. And you're up for an award. I saw recently you've been nominated for something. So that's
So it's weird. We've had so many stories recently, and we've been actually finalists now. So we won't find out till later in the year. I think it's November. Okay. Male Ally of the Year award for obviously our Alex and his sisters events, and we've just been recently selected for Theo Pathetis' Small Business Sunday. Wow. And it's nice. There's been some really good stories. Like, I think it's just been this catalogue of stories. So awards, we just hit the £100,000 target for the Christie for our fundraising.
Fantastic.
So there's been lots of press releases going out lately, like literally bang, bang, bang.
Wonderful. What a great opportunity to celebrate successes and recognition of those successes as well. So testament to you and your hard work and how you do things. So fantastic.
Yeah, perfect.
So Christopher, if people want to get hold of you, where would they go?
Yeah, best place is my website, agentsof.co.uk.
And what kind of services do you offer there, Chris?
Well, it's freelance business development services, so I enjoy making introductions, setting up appointments, helping people win new business.
And visibility creates opportunity, of course.
It absolutely
always does.
It absolutely does. How about you, Ross? How could people find you?
Well, if they want to speak to me about podcasting, recording, editing, producing, strategizing, doing the artwork for, making it sound good, blah, 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 all that stuff, northernpods.com is the place to find me. So I think that's it, really, isn't it? We've had a good chat. It's been about an hour or so. So
I think we could have carried on talking, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you,
I think all three was good.
I'm thinking of the listeners.
I'm thinking of my stomach. I'm out of lunch. I'm starving. So, Alex, really been a pleasure, mate. I look forward to meeting you in the flesh one day, probably at a networking event with Chris, where we're being visible to create opportunity.
Yeah, we need to do an IRL version of the podcast and get all the guests together, perhaps at some point.
Well, it has been suggested that we'll all meet up for a pint in the Northern Quarter this summer, and one guy suggested we all wear wireless mics. Now, you'll be all right if you're not drinking.
Record the whole thing.
However, the rest of us who might be having a drink or two, I don't think that's such a good idea. Alex is going, oh, no, I'll be fine. I'll be on coke, mate. All right, until next time, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, RSS, Podverse, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Smoke Signals, Carrier Pigeon, or ask your nan's, cousin's, brother's, uncle, who probably knows us as well. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
Brown and Marsh is a Northern Pods production. Find out more at northernpods.com.